Hello viewers, I am Dr. Jetning Yellow sir. As you well aware that I am running a channel in the YouTube called Law Speeches. In this channel I am posting my lectures on law and other related global issues. So first of all, I request all of you to join my channel and watch my videos. If you feel that those videos are perfect enough, good enough, then share among your friends and also like it. So today, world is celebrating another international day in mark of respect to women. So that is today is a World International Women's Day. As you know that every March 8th, all across the world, from tiny to very big nations, we see the marking of events in commemorating the Women's Day. Almost all the governments around the world, from the communist to democratic governments, they celebrate the day with much enthusiasm and with fanfare. And this year's theme is prescribed by the UNESCO. The theme runs as follows: that break the bias, imagine a gender equal world. So as and today also the woman is prone to bias and they are fighting for gender equality. So that is the theme of this year's International Women's Day. And in spite of repeated efforts made by the United Nations organization and different agencies of the United Nations organization and also all across the world countries, we could see there is a lot of bias is there against the women, and women are the first target for violence. If you go for historical perspectives of the celebration of Women's Day, in 1910, in Europe, Copenhagen, the second international conference of working women was held under the chairmanship of Mrs. Clara Zetkin, who is a revolutionary, a Marxist German leader, and she proposed the concept of the International Women's Day. If you go the continent across the United States of America, in 1908, there was a lot of upheavals was taken place, unrest was taken place in garment industry, particularly the women. They were under the attack, brutal attack from the owners, and to mitigate that such kind of attacks, asserting their rights, on February 28th, 1909, the Socialist Party of America declared that we should celebrate the World International Women's Day. Almost in the entire globe, the Women's Day is celebrated on March 8th, but except in South Africa, they celebrate on 9th of August. That practice was there since 1956. As I told you that women is prone to all kinds of violence at every society, whether it is a developed societies or developing societies. In all the societies, they are first targets and front targets. As you know, the world is seeing the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. The millions of Ukrainians, they are crossing the borders to Poland, Hungary, Moldova. There also we could see women have put to lot of hardships. And not only this Ukrainian war, but any other war, you go to First World War, the Second World War, Korean War, Japanese War, Indo-China War, Indo-Pakistani War, Syrian conflicts, Sudanese conflicts, Ethiopian Eritrean War. So all those conflicts, the first target is women, and they were put to harshest abuse of their rights. But there are some countries, they worship women as the goddess, like India. We worship mother as the goddess, and almost unequal to men, deities, gods, we have the goddesses in India. We give a respect to women everywhere. Even our ancient scriptures, Vedas, other books have given a respect to women everywhere. Even our kings who ruled India have given a lot of respect to the woman. But in spite of that, is it today? Is it there? For our agony is that such things have day by day washing. Though we are increasing the technological innovations, we become techno-gadget societies, but violence against women is also rising in a rapid manner. And you know, there are some Indian society, some segments of the people, they believe that the birth of a woman, a child, a female child is considered as a bane, because we have accustomed to some traditional malpractices. And things are like that. Then what is the proportion of the women, their population? Now we consider in India, though we have 135 crores of population, of which 66.90 crores of population are women. That means it is around 48% of the population is women. In the United States of America, 16.33 crores of population, they are women. And but there are some underdeveloped countries where women have Majority of population, those countries include Nepal, 54.51% of population. In Latvia, Lithuania, Ukraine, Armenia and Russia, in those countries, the women has majority of the population as compared to men population. Because these countries which are referred, except to Russia, remaining countries are, though it is a small countries, but they have some extent developed countries. So they know how to give respect to their women populace. And the respective governments have been giving, introduced the number of schemes for the increase of women strength in their population. And there are some countries where we can say that if you ask what are the best countries and the worst countries for the women is concerned, the 2021 ranking provides that the best countries for the women are the Norway, Finland, Iceland, Denmark, Luxembourg, Switzerland, Sweden, Austria, United Kingdom and Netherlands. So all these 10 countries are best countries for women for their living. Though these are the small countries and most of all of the countries are European based countries. So the societal attitude towards women, or the men attitude towards women, government attitude towards women is quite good, quite perfect. That is the reason even the legal protection of women in those countries are high ranking. This is the reason these countries have got the best countries for the women living. Then if you see the other side of the coin, the worst countries, those 10 top countries are in violation of the rights or abuse of rights of women. Those are Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen, Pakistan, Iraq, South Sudan, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, Sierra Leone. So these be considered as the worst countries. You have seen the sagas of the women suffrages in Afghanistan under the Taliban. Now they have we have seen some sort of modified Taliban, but still today women are afraid. In Syria, civil war is taking place in Syria. The plight of women is in such a horrendous state. In Yemen. But these are the facts which I am narrating basing upon my browsing in the internet, not my personal opinion. And with regard to the protection of the women, because women should be protected, then only we can see the growth of the society. That has been identified in the international level, and for that reason the international countries have been adopted number of covenants. Those include, which I am listing out, only important conventions. Those include, one is the Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, that also be popularly called as a CEDA, which is adopted by the General Assembly on 18th of December 1979, and so far it is ratified by 189 countries. This is a foremost convention, very important convention. CEDA is a very important convention which covers every aspect of the woman, civil, political, cultural. All the rights have been inserted in this convention, and I will take a separate lecture for in detail with regard to this convention. Then we have the common convention like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights of 1948. There also it is a common convention applicable to men and women, but the provisions are there for right to family, right to life, right to liberty, right to all rights with the children. So all those things have been there in the UDHR documents. So that also been concerning with the women. Then other international covenant is the International Convention on the Political and the Civil Rights of 1966, which also a common international convention which provides the civil and political rights of the people of the world. Then we have the one more convention that will be called as the International Convention on the Economic, Social and Cultural Rights of 1966. So it is also a common convention, provides the economic rights of the women, political rights of the women, and also the cultural rights of the women. So it is also common, not a specific convention. Then we have the International Convention on Declaration of the Protection of the Women and Children during the Armed Conflict and Emergencies of 1974. In case of armed conflicts and emergencies, as I told you, that women are the first targets to protect their rights from not to be abused of. We have international level, we have created 1974 convention. Then we have the another convention is there, that is be called as a Declaration of the Elimination of the Violence Against Women of 1993. So any sort of violence, all kinds of violence should be eliminated against the women during the peaceful time, during the war time, or during whatever time. So that is the reason this 1993 convention is made of, then agreed upon. Then we have the one more convention called Inter-American Convention for Protection of the Women. So that is a regional based convention applicable to the Americas. So there, that also been, we can consider it as because it is involving countries of the North and South Americas. Then we have the one more convention, that is the Universal Declaration of the Democracy Convention of 1999. So it is also a common convention, but when we have seen in Myanmar, Burma, when woman becomes the prime minister, then there is a violence. Because woman has every right to participate in the democratic process, a democratic polity. Like that it is happening in somewhere, here and there. We have adapted this convention. Then we have the optional protocols also there, that is the elimination of the all forms of discrimination against women 1990. One more, it is when addenda is added to the CEDA in 1990s. So these are some of the important conventions which I am delving upon, and international conventions. So mere making of a law, international law, signing the law does not serve the purpose, because India is boasting 48% of the female population. Just I told you, Indians adore the mother as a god, and they adore the female as a god, but there are certain segments where there are certain superstitions where still women have been put to some kind of inhuman practices. To avoid this, when the makers of the constitution made the constitution in 1946 to 47, 50s, the Constitutional Assembly has deliberated upon all these aspects, and it has came out the right of equality from the articles 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18, where women rights have been specifically provided or accorded a kind of protection under the Article 15 and 16 of the Constitution of India. And even all the fundamental rights which are available in the part 3rd also applicable to the women, their special protection is provided by the Constitution under Article 15, Clause 3 and Article 16. And for providing the health of the woman, protecting the health of the woman, we have the part 4th is there in the form of dietary principle of state policies, where maternity benefits, equal pay, equal protection, and also other benefits have been specifically provided under this part 4 of the Constitution of India. In addition to the constitutional rights, we have the specific statutory enactments also made for the interest of the women. Those I am listing here. The one is Immoral Traffic Prevention Act of 1956, where the act provides buying of, selling or transportation of women for bonded labor or for the sexual things is prohibited. If anybody practices this heinous crime, they are liable for prosecution under this act, in addition to the Indian Penal Code. Then we have the Dory Prohibition Act of 1961. The act is enacted in 1961, but it has not having much impact till 1986, when again it is amended in 1986. So any form of taking dowry, demanding dowry, giving dowry is prohibited during the time of marriage or after the marriage also. If anybody does, they are liable for criminal punishment and proceedings under this act. And you know, in Indian society had a kind of sati system, means when a husband dies, the widow was put on the fire and the pyre of that husband. So that is a heinous practice which is mostly visible in the North India, Rajasthan and Haryana and some parts of the Madhya Pradesh and the Uttar Pradesh. So the government has come out with an act called the Sati Prevention Act. It has been strengthened, this act, in 1987. And we have the Child Marriages Prohibition Act. That also have been, child marriage have been prohibited in our country by that act. And one more important act has been come out that we call as a Domestic Violence Act of 2005. So all kinds of domestic violence is put to be a criminal offence under this act. It is a very comprehensive enactment is made by the Parliament to protect mostly from the women, though later Supreme Court has stated in its judgment that domestic violence does not mean only women, it also protects the males also. But basically the act is, as we see the running of the act for more than 15-16 years, it has had the effectiveness is visible in our societies. In addition to this, we have the sexual harassment of women at workplace of 2013. So this act is enacted by the parliament basing upon the judgment delivered by the apex court of the land that it has to take measures. It is advised the government of India to take measures for prevention of the sexual offences during the workplaces, and this act is enacted. Then we have the Criminal Law Amendment Act of 2013. There also the criminal law is strengthened in favor of the protection and abuse to prevent the abuse of the women against women. Then we have the one more act is there, that is the Indecent Representation of Women Prohibition Act of 1986. So if you want to project the woman, you should project in a improper form. Indecent behavior towards women, projecting them in a inhuman or uncultured manner, either by the video, by photography, or any other form, in wide form, that is a completely prohibited because of this passing of this act, because this act also been passed in connivance with the judgment of the Supreme Court of India. And in addition to these specific enactments, we have general enactments also there, that is the Indian Penal Code of 1860, Indian Evidence Act of 1872, protects the women's their rights, criminal rights, and it protects abuse of women in criminal way, a criminal manner. In addition to that, if you go to the civil law side, we have number of enactments are there in the Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Marriage Act, Indian Succession Act, Guardian and Wards Act, and Sridhana is a part of the Indian woman has a right over the Sridhana, ancestral properties, and even they have the birthright. They have the birthright over the properties of the grandfather, great grandfathers, and that has been inserted into Indian Succession Act. And recently Supreme Court also affirmed the ancestral right of the daughter over the family properties. So these innumerable enactments are there in our country or even in the around the world. Still, even if I am delivering a lecture, there is maybe even today, maybe the World International Women's Day, maybe some corner of the globe, some happenings have been happening, abuse of women is happening. That is a very, very sad state of affairs. We should repent. Unless until we give respect to the women, protect their rights, provide their status, provide their equality, then we cannot attain the egalitarian society which our forefathers are thinking, which is in India the Constitution is thinking for providing of the egalitarian society. And not only the Constitution of India, but also if you see the other constitutions of the world, United States Constitution, French constitutions, or Australian Constitution, any other Kenyan constitution, or any other constitutions of the world, they are thinking their objective cannot be attained or achieved or accomplished without proper protection of the rights of the women, and they should be protected from the all kinds of crimes, maybe physical crimes, maybe sexual crimes, maybe children crimes, maybe cyber crimes, maybe pornographic crimes, even maybe latest guard crimes. So all should be avoided by the state as well as the individuals, family members, and each and everybody, then only we can see that the society is in jaws of progress. Thank you for patiently hearing my lecture on this on International Women's Day. So if you feel that my lecture is knowledgeable and worthy, please like and share among your groups. Thank you, one and all.